Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort, and we are here for another poetry discussion. A poetry discussion which will appear in the poetry discussion playlist here on the channel. This poem is from Walt Whitman. We've been on a bit of a Walt Whitman kick lately. The poem in question is Ship Starting, and there is one word in this poem that kind of brings brings everything full circle, maybe takes everything to the next level. I'm not 100% sure how it would be that you would want to say this. But once again, this is a Walt Whitman poem, so the line breaks are a little bit wonky. It's almost like he didn't even plan for Microsoft Word to be involved in this process. I don't know how that would have slipped his mind. The poem The Ship Starting, reads as such. Lo, the unbounded sea, on its breast a ship starting, spreading all sails, carrying even her moon sails. The pennant is flying aloft as she speeds so stately. Below emulous waves press forward. They surround the ship with shining, curving motions and foam. It goes kind of quickly, so we'll do it one more time. Lo, the unbounded sea, on its breast a ship starting, spreading all sails, carrying even her moon sails. The pennant is flying aloft as she speeds so stately. Below emulous waves press forward. They surround the ship with shining, curving motions and foam. Now, here's a sneaky secret, all right? Something they never tell you in English classes, something they'll never tell you when you study this poem. The ship is not a ship. Oh, that's obvious? That's the obvious thing to say here? Okay, well, no, that's fine. I get it. Well, the other stuff isn't the other stuff either, right? If the ship is not the ship, the ocean's not the sea, is not the sea. The pennant is not the pennant. The sails, those are all of the confidence and ideas and knowledge that one needs to succeed in life, because obviously the ship represents a person. The sails to that ship, even the moon sails. The moon sails are a little bit different, but if the sails that carry you forward are confidence, ideas, knowledge, the moon sails would be those things which are your passions, those things which occupy your mind when your body is setting down for the evening. Something like we get in A Clear Midnight by Walt Whitman, these ideas of the soul as something to be focused at night. The moon sails are the passion of the individual. The pennants are used to identify a ship because the ship itself is standard issue, right? You have a standard issue ship. You have to have pennants by which to identify it, kind of like the human body. So we have to signify where we are going and who we are. We have to build up a type of identity. We have to wear on our sleeves, if you will, certain things that identify us as who we are. The waves are life building as the things we do, right? I read books, talk about poetry, talk about short stories, talk about novels. That is my wave. But there's one other word here that makes things a little bit different, maybe a little bit weird. We start here with the word lo. The word lo kind of is used to say behold, right? So we're saying, behold, the unbounded sea. Look at the beautiful unbounded sea. Then we start getting into the ship. We are, for the most of this poem, talking about the ship itself. The unbounded sea, it could be seen in the greater Walt Whitman canon, kind of to represent the United States. He is quintessentially American. So, when he says, "Behold, the United States," and he points to an individual ship which represents an individual person, we understand that he is then talking about so most poetry in some way is autobiographical. Just is what it is. Most writing in some way is autobiographical. You can't write about someone you aren't. Not really. You can do it, right? But it's more difficult. And everything that you put into that person, that character on the page, becomes a reflection of one of your own thoughts. Those are all the thoughts you have. You can only have your own thoughts. Now, I do think that there are writers who are better at entertaining the thoughts of others, and I think part of that has in large part died, and that is in part why literature is maybe going through some growing pains right now. But we're going to say that this individual being talked about by our speaker in the poem, maybe it's Walt Whitman, right? They surround the ship. These waves surround the ship with shining, curving motions and foam. Do you know where sea foam comes from? This foam, it's not the type of foam that you put into pool noodles. It's sea foam. You know where sea foam comes from? Like in mythology, like in literature, where sea foam comes from? In Greek mythology, sea foam is famously associated with the birth of Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. According to the myth, Aphrodite emerged from the sea foam near the island of Cyprus. The origin of the sea foam in this myth is linked to a dramatic event involving the primordial god Uranus. According to Hesiod's Theogony, Uranus was overthrown by his son Cronos. Cronos castrated Uranus and threw his severed genitals into the sea. The foam that formed around them gave rise to Aphrodite, symbolizing her birth from the violent and chaotic forces of nature. This story underscores Aphrodite's connection to the sea and her association with beauty and creation emerging from turmoil. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, is born from sea foam. Are we suggesting here that the individual spoken about in the poem, represented by none other than the ship itself, is in some way representative of the goddess of love, the goddess of beauty? Is that what we are saying? Is this Walt Whitman saying, "Here I am, Walt Whitman, in the United States," or I guess I did that a little bit backwards, in the United States, here I am, this wonderful individual that is Walt Whitman. I am also the goddess of beauty and love. It is an interesting pairing that lo, behold, and foam at the end of the poem should be pointing to different things, but different things that are held in such high regard. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, consider hitting the subscribe button in order to stick around for more poetry. There's poetry on the channel every Monday, as well as short story discussions, novel read-alongs, and the like. As always, I hope to have you back for the next